The Department of State Services, DSS, has filed charges against former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai at the Federal High Court in Abuja over allegations of unlawfully intercepting phone communications of the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu. Court documents reveal that El-Rufai, during a live television interview on the 13th of February, admitted to knowledge of the interception. The prosecutors claim the act compromised public safety and national security, instilling fear among Nigerians. In the 3-count charge, the DSS describes the action of the former Kaduna State Governor as being in breach of the Cybercrimes Amendment Act of 2024 and the Nigerian Communications Act of 2003. They accuse El-Rufai of both direct involvement and failure to report individuals allegedly responsible for the unlawful interception. Also, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has confirmed that former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai is in its custody for questioning, with no assurance on how long he'll remain there. EFCC spokesperson Dele Oyewale accused the former governor of causing chaos by mobilizing supporters to the commission's office. Oyewale says El-Rufai is being interrogated over a range of issues, including comments he made during a recent television interview. He says while the live interview was ongoing, the Department of State Services contacted the EFCC to confirm whether its interrogation had concluded, indicating interest in questioning the former governor. Rufai, your take on some of these stories this morning.
Yes, El-Rufai had his day in the EFCC yesterday. They grilled him overnight. There are still conversations going on about over 423 billion. They said most of the loans he took was not properly accounted for. I mean, we've had the allegation, because I remember we had somebody on the show a couple of months down the line, maybe about last year, where they came to talk about these allegations against El-Rufai. He's definitely going to answer it. The DSS too has also, filed a case in court against him as regards the phone tapping. We'll see how all of that pans out. While all of this was happening yesterday, I think in Adamawa, President Tinubu, sort of like passed a vote of confidence on Nuhu Ribadu by saying he's doing a good job and everything. And they're going to fight and get rid of banditry and all of that. I mean, that will come as a very soothing one for Nuhu Ribadu. I'm hearing next person, so maybe I'll yield the floor quickly because of time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, 3 specific issues that are on the table. First, Nasir El-Rufai. There was an attempt to arrest him, but subsequently, he has now been more or less apprehended by the EFCC, and charges have been filed against him by the Department of State Services. Now, there are 2 issues on the table. Let me take them one by one. Now, the Department of State Services is filing charges against him on the basis of Section 37 of the 1999 Constitution, which says that individuals, all of us, have the right to privacy, and no one has the power to breach that privacy. The Cybercrime Act also criminalizes the invasion of people's privacy in terms of wiretapping, in terms of phone tapping, in terms of what they say in private. And the issue here is that Madam Nasir El-Rufai appeared on Arise TV and then alleged that someone gave him information that had been compromised on the National Security Advisor's phone. And then he said, well, he himself recognizes that it's technically illegal, but he spoke on the basis of that same information. Then there is also the Nigerian Communications Commission Act, which also does not allow you to do wiretapping on your own, except it is something that is sanctioned by the court of law. So you cannot come and say, this person said this on his phone. That in itself is a felony. Then, of course, you have national security considerations. In this particular case, it was the National Security Advisor that was mentioned. And then, of course, persons who are affected by this can also, file civil charges and seek redress that they are entitled under Section 37 to privacy. Because there may well be certain individuals in this country who are recording other people when they call you, or you are, using some technology to interfere with their privacy. One lesson from all of this is that there is a felony attached to that when there is no court approval that a person's communication should be monitored. Now, it was on the basis of that the DSS now decided to go to court. Now, a number of questions raised in that regard. The first is, Nasir El-Rufai was quoting somebody else, a third party. What he said, did he say it under caution? He was on television, just talking on television. If that was an extrajudicial admission, then, of course, it was not under caution. So it will be problematic in law, as Inibe Efiong has argued correctly. The second point is that what is known under the National Security Agencies Act to Nigeria is the State Security Services, not the Department of State Services. So the question in law will be, can a non-existent entity prosecute? The third issue is that the DSS or the SSS does not have prosecutorial powers. That should have been done through the office of the Attorney General of the Federation. Number 4 is that there are national security dimensions to the case. Now, in terms of national security, the issue will be how has the statement breached national security. So there is this intersection between politics and law. And that was why I was saying the other day that national security in Nigeria should not be reduced to the level of politics or conflict between two former friends who are now enemies, as it were. And so there's also that personal leg to it. But the overriding point with regard to national security is that the state, the Nigerian state, is trying to prove a point, which is important, that no individual is above the law. And 2, no individual can overwhelm the Nigerian state, because Nasir El-Rufai was beginning to sound and behave and overreaching himself as if he's in a position to overreach the Nigerian state, saying, for example, that the APC will not win based on his own decision in a democratic setup. He doesn't have such powers. And then calling out persons in government and saying all kinds of offensive things about them. The state must have considered that they also have a responsibility to say, you cannot overwhelm this state, and we will put you in your place.